All right, all right. Shalom, Israel, Most High in Christ bless. Happy Sabbath. I'm Captain Yawanathan. All right, today we're going to be going over God's Avengers versus God's enemies. All right, too many of us, especially in this day and age, are confused. We're confused by all the plots and all the secret counsels of those that destroy us. All right, those that have destroyed us since the time that we left Jerusalem, that we fled Jerusalem. All right. As it was destroyed by the Edomites. All right, so let's start with Psalms 83. Let's start with Psalms 83rd chapter. Just start with verse 1. Start with verse 1.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 83 and verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
Keep not thou silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult.
All right, so first and foremost, it must be established, especially as stating our people, the blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, our people are lost. We don't know who we are. We don't know who we are. So how can we know who our enemy are, right? How can we know who our enemies is, who those that destroy us and that continue to destroy us, and even who has the power to destroy us? A lot of us confused, right? But clearly the Lord is saying he has enemies. He has enemies. All right, read on.
And they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
Right, and those that hate the Lord are his enemies. Read.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
All right, so that the name of Israel be no more in remembrance. Okay, so we're going to get into that a little bit. Just a little bit. All right. So let's get that in Deuteronomy real quick. 28. Deuteronomy 28. We got to start calling everything by its name. We got to start calling everything as it is. All right. That's part of our confusion. That tumult that the heathen came up and devised against us, all right, or came up with together, all right, was to devise against us how to destroy the nation of Israel, how to destroy God's people on earth, how to destroy him. All right, watch this.
What verse?
Byword. I think it's,
yes, sir.
Yeah.
Verse
right.
37.
And
thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword.
Right, so the astonishment came from the destruction that we suffered, all right, in slavery and all the things that we were forcibly at one point in time forced to doing. All right, we were forced to leave our language, forced to leave our culture, forced to leave our name. Now we're called by all these other names. And it's more than just the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, because we also have brothers and sisters in on the continent of Africa and all over the world. We were scattered everywhere. All right. Read that again.
And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whither the Lord shall lead thee.
Right. Among all nations. Our people are among all nations. And the astonishment is that even to this day, we continue to accept all the destruction that was given to us. Even though it makes sense to some of us and it doesn't make sense to most of us, we continue to accept it. We continue, and the other nations, they just watch, knowing who we are. That's the astonishment. They know who you are. They know who you are. That's how they know who to target, and that's the tumult that we read about in Psalms 83. Go back to Psalms 83.
Sir.
So now it is that we've come a byword, an astonishment. So read verse 83 and 2 again.
The book of Psalms, chapter 83 and verse 2. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
They that hate God, they that hate God's children, God's people, have lifted up the head. They've become proud. So much, in fact, they come straight at God to destroy as close as they can get to him in destroying his children. Read on.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones.
And consulted again. We're the hidden ones of God. We're the hidden ones that David is prophesying about. We are the ones that don't know who we are. We think we everybody. We think that we're the Gentiles. We think that we everybody except what God calls us, all right, except what the Creator himself calls us. We think we everybody else. Read on.
Verse 4. They have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation.
From being what?
From being a nation.
From being a nation. A nation. A nation. This word our people don't know. The only concept we have of a nation is everybody else, every people that's not us. That's as close as we can get to understanding what a nation is. But guess what? God says that we are a nation, and we were divided and destroyed because of our sins, and that was perpetrated by the so-called white man, by the so-called Arab man, by the so-called Chinese man, and every man on earth. And that, we're going to read it. We're going to read it. Read on.
That the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
Come on.
For they have consulted together with one consent.
And I'm just letting you know, we're going to read just about this whole chapter. We never do that, but today we're going to read through this chapter. Read on.
They are confederate against thee.
It says they are confederate against thee. We see them warring. We see them talking rumors of wars. We see all these things that they do against each other, how they talk about the politics, that like seemingly like they're all at difference, like they're all in disagreement. It's one thing that they agree on, and we're reading about it. And the thing that they agree on is what should interest our people the most, how they can destroy us and keep us destroyed. We should all be interested to understand this, my people. All right, come on.
Verse 6, the tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites.
Now the Lord is naming, he's naming who these are that perpetrate such destruction on his people. He's naming his enemies. Come on.
Of Moab and the Hagarenes, Gabal and Ammon.
Gabal and Ammon. So we got the Edomites, which is the so-called white man, right? We got the Ammonites. Those are the so-called Japanese. Read on.
And Amalek, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre.
Tyre. So, and those are your so-called Arab or Lebanese, right? Read on.
Ashur also is joint with them. They have hope in the children of Lot.
All right.
Selah.
All right, so the Chinese and the Japanese are in that also. Go ahead.
Do unto them as unto the Midianites.
Jump down to verse 12 for me, real quick.
Verse 12. Who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of God in possession.
All right, we're the houses of God, brothers and sisters. The children of Israel are the houses of God. All right, let me get 1 Peter 4 and 17.
Yes, sir.
Let me see what that say. 1 Peter 4 and 17.
The book of 1 Peter, chapter 4 and verse 17. For the time is come that judgment must begin at the house of God. And if it first begin at us, what shall be the end? What shall the end be of them that obey not the gospel of God?
So who is the us? The us is the house of God. The house of God are his children. They are his people. Go back to where we was.
Yes, sir.
Read it again.
The book of Psalm, chapter 83 and verse 12. Who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of God in possession.
All right, so how is that done today? How is that done today? Well, we're going to go over some articles, and we're going to go over some things that most of us here in this country are too consumed with Instagram and television and popular, so-called popular culture, all right, to understand and realize that these people and the same people that are listed here in ancient time, right, in old time, are the same ones destroying our people all over the world today. Today, it's still happening to this day. All right. First, let me get Psalms 37. Let me get Psalms 37 real quick, and 12. Start at 12.
Yes, sir.
And then get me. Hold on. Then get me the article. I want the article. Let me go there. Yeah, read that.
Yes, sir. The book of Psalm, chapter 37 and verse 12. The wicked plotteth against the just, and gnasheth upon him with his teeth. The Lord shall laugh at him, for he seeth that his day is coming.
All right, read it again. I'm sorry.
Verse 12. The wicked plotteth against the just, and gnasheth upon him with his teeth.
Right, so it says the wicked plotteth against the just. We are the just. We were the ones given the laws of God. Let me get that precept in Romans. Let me get that precept. Got to prove who is the just.
The book of Romans, chapter 7 and verse 12. Wherefore the law is holy, and the commandment holy, and just and good.
Right, so we were the ones given The children of Israel, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans all over the world were the ones given the law. We are the just. All right, go back to Psalms, read that one more time.
The book of Psalm, chapter 37 and verse 12. The wicked plotteth against the just, and gnasheth upon him with his teeth. Keep reading.
Yes, sir.
Verse 13. The Lord shall laugh at him, for he seeth that his day is coming. The wicked have drawn out the sword, and have bent their bow, to cast down the poor and needy, and to slay such as be of upright conversation.
All right, so that's supposed to be our people. All right, that's supposed to be our people. Now, give me the, I think it is a video. We're going to have to put up the disclaimer for that. Yeah. Let me see. No, actually, let me start with the article. So what I want to preface this by is there's a great conflict, and it's not new. It's fairly old, of what's going on with Eritrea and Ethiopia. All right, and what's happening is there's a so-called civil war. You know, that civil war is AKA Esau's war to destroy a land, all right, or to covet a land and take it by violence. The code name for that is civil war. And it doesn't matter, it doesn't really matter where on earth it is. That's always the code word of civil war. All right, let me see if I can find this video. To prove what I just said. Because it shows that Esau has been behind, the United States has been behind just about, dare I say, every single coup on earth since the inception of this place. Since the inception. Let me find it. Real quick. While I'm looking for that, give me Micah chapter 2. This is what civil war is about. Let me find it.
The book of Micah, chapter 2 and verse 1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand. Verse 2. And they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away, so that they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage.
Hey, read it again, officer. I'm sorry. Read it again from the top.
Verse 1. Woe to them that devise iniquity.
So the scriptures say, woe to them that devise iniquity. Woe means destruction. That's what that means. Destruction to them that devise iniquity. Come on.
And work evil upon their beds.
Now you got to think about this. What people can't go to sleep at night until they devise plots, ways to keep us in sin, ways to keep us buying and selling on the Sabbath day, right? What people on the earth devise this type of iniquity against us? Day after day, week after week, month after month, generation after generation, to the point where our children are affected by this. They don't even grow up the same way as all the other nations around us, right? Come on.
When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand.
That means that they have the ability and the resources, right, to go forth and conquer and to accomplish all that they thought about the night before. Our enemies do that against us. Come on.
Verse 2. And they covet fields and take them by violence.
Right. They covet fields and take them by violence. We read that in Deuteronomy, right? In Deuteronomy, that's where we read about the nations that have come against us, put us into slavery, and took everything that the Lord gave us. And can I get one more scripture, Cap?
Absolutely.
I want to get Romans chapter 3. I know you called Romans chapter 7, but I want to get Romans chapter 3, where it talks about the law. and how it was given to us, and the importance of the law. Start at verse 1, please.
The book of Romans, chapter 3 and verse 1. Excuse me. What advantage then hath the Jew?
So even though the Lord has given this nation power to conquer us, right, and to devise iniquity against us, the Lord says that we have what? Read it again.
What advantage then hath the Jew?
The Lord said we got an advantage still over them. We got an advantage over them, right? Come on.
Or what profit is there of circumcision? Much every way, chiefly because that unto them,
us, right? Come on.
Were committed the oracles of God.
Was committed the oracles of God, right? So we got the oracles of God right here in the scriptures. And these oracles give us the ability to see the future, to see what's coming. Just like when you watch The Matrix, y'all remember the oracle? She was able to see ahead before something happened. She could see it. Well, the Bible is supposed to be this for us. The Bible, the scriptures call the oracles of God our advantage. Well, in Sirach chapter 33, get that in verse 3, it's going to tell us what the oracles are. So we got to use these oracles to navigate, because we know that there's another nation that's devising iniquity against us. Sirach 33 and verse 3.
The book of Sirach, chapter 33 and verse 3.
Come on.
A man of understanding trusteth in the law.
So the scriptures teach us that a man who has understanding will trust in the laws of God. Come on.
And the law is faithful unto him as an oracle.
As a what?
As an oracle.
So these are oracles right here, the scriptures. So we got to use these scriptures to navigate our way. All right, because in this land, we got a nation that devises plots against us.
All right, so while he finds, I'm trying to get him to get this video, right? Go back to Psalms 83. Go back to Psalms 83 real fast. All right.
You want that too?
Yeah. Matter of fact, just go back to Micah 2.
Yes, sir.
Go back to Micah 2 while he finds this, because I want the thought to be fresh. I want the thought to be fresh. And then 1 and 2.
The book of Micah, chapter 2 and verse 1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. And they covet fields and take them by violence.
So, as I stated, the conflict between Eritrea and Ethiopia is apparently instigated by the fact that America seeks to expand using its foothold, its already foothold that it has in Ethiopia, all right, allegedly. So the expansion would be what? Eritrea, you guessed it, which is what I'm going to show you in this video. This is how it always goes. It's the same thing throughout history. Watch this. You got it? Yeah.
We're not going to get through all these coups. Let's move on. Okay, so
hold on. Pause it right there. Pause it right there.
19...
So I said, hey, listen, earlier I said, I said, dare I say that America, the United States of America, has been the perpetrators of every single coup on earth, not just in America, all right? Not just in its neighboring countries, though that's some of the video we're going to see, but on earth since its inception as a country. Watch this.
We're not going to get through all these coups. Let's move on. Okay, so we're over here in Nicaragua.
He said we're not going to get through all the coups. We ain't going to make it through
There's
all
a bunch of powerful American
go ahead. Play it.
companies here, but a new president comes to power vowing to regulate them. The U.S. is not going to let this happen. So the Secretary of State starts spreading rumors to smear this guy, this president, saying that he's building a canal that would compete.
Now look, what
with the
everybody
Panama
needs to
Canal.
think, what
But really,
everybody
there's
needs to focus on is this. Who else moves like that? Who else moves? This is another country. A president says, this is what I'm going to do in my country with my people and their interests. And America, United States says, no, we're not going to let that. We don't like that. That doesn't suit our interests. That doesn't suit our world domination. Go ahead, play on.
Spreading rumors to smear this guy, this president, saying that he's building a canal that would compete with the Panama Canal. But really, they're just upset because Nicaragua's taking loans from Europe. The U.S. keeps painting this guy as a war criminal and someone worthy of being thrown out.
So hold on. I want y'all to peep something because it's going to come into play as we investigate, right, or divulge more in this conflict between Ethiopia and Eritrea, right? So the U.S. weakens nations by making them dependent on them. So when somebody says, we don't want your aid, we don't want your money, the U.S. has now made them an enemy. Why? Because their dependency on the U.S. is their foothold or their control over that country or that people. All right? Go ahead, play on.
Taking loans
So the issue, hold on. So the issue that America had, that the U.S. had, was that the president, the Nicaraguan president, took money or aid from a different country, not the U.S. That's the issue. Play on.
Compete with the Panama Canal. But really, they're just upset because Nicaragua's taking loans from Europe.
Right.
The U.S. keeps painting this guy as a war criminal and someone worthy of being thrown out. So push comes to shove, and the U.S. sends ships to both of Nicaragua's coasts. They assemble a bunch of Marines in Panama, basically just flexing on Nicaragua and telling the president
Hey,
to
hold
step
on.
down.
They not flexing. They're not flexing. They listen. Read Micah again, bro. They ain't just flexing.
The book of Micah, chapter 2 and verse 1.
Read.
Woe to
just
them.
read verse 2.
Verse 2.
Come on.
And they covet fields.
They covet a country. They covet another man's land. Come on.
And take them by violence.
By what?
By violence.
They're not flexing. They are not just flexing. They've killed and they will do it again. That's how they get everything they have. That's their blessing. All right. Or prophecy terms will be curse. That's their curse. All right. But play on. Was that it on that, Micah 2?
No, sir. And houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house.
And that's when they bring in their interests. That's when they bring in their politics. Their democracy is what they'll call it, right? Their culture of democracy is what they'll call it, right? That's the oppression of that people, their culture, their way of life, their freedoms, their liberties. That's what they do. All right, play on. Was that it?
Even a man and his heritage.
Even a man and his heritage. They don't give a damn how you was brought up. They don't care what you believe in. They don't care about your religion. Though they force yours or though they would have you to believe that it's freedom of religion, freedom of speech, freedom of all these different things. Oh, no. The Bible says the character attribute of this man, he will read it again, the bottom part. Oppress.
So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage.
A man's heritage is what he believes in, his culture, his way of life, his lineage, his posterity even, his future. This man don't give a damn about your liberties or what have you. All right, go ahead, play on. Play the video.
So push comes to shove, and the U.S. sends ships to both of Nicaragua's coasts. They assemble a bunch of Marines in Panama, basically just flexing on Nicaragua and telling the president to step down. And the benefit of being a rising superpower is that it worked. He has no choice but to step down. And soon, a leader that the U.S. likes comes to power. The coup is complete, and really, this is the first of many instances of the U.S. meddling in Nicaragua.
So hold on. So
later,
something else I want y'all to understand is this. The Bible says, and we started with this precept in Psalms 83. The Bible says that the nations make a tumult. The enemies of God, they come together in an angry gathering, all right, to one cause. The people in Nicaragua are the brothers and sisters of the northern kingdom of the nation of Israel. That's who they are. So when we go back to Psalms 83, read it again so the thought is fresh. Read it again. Come on.
Yes, sir. This is the book of Psalm, chapter 83 and verse 12.
Uh-huh.
Who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of God in possession.
Let us take to ourselves the houses of God into our possession. Now, why are they saying our? Who's the our? Remember, they said in this video here that the U.S. didn't like the Europe giving the loans to the Nicaraguan president, right? So they came in and intervened. That's not what the Lord said. The Lord said that they were all confederate to one consent, to one ideology, which is to destroy God's people. To destroy God's people and erase the name of Israel out of the earth. Go back up and read that part. Verse 2, I think. Yeah, verse 2.
Verse 2. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult,
Uh-huh.
and they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
Read.
They have taken crafty counsel
They have taken crafty counsel. Read on.
against thy people,
Against God's people. The Nicaraguan people are God's people. Read on.
and consulted against thy hidden ones.
Uh-huh.
They have said, come, let us cut them off
Come, let us cut them off. Read.
from being a nation.
From being a nation. That's what we read about in Micah chapter 2, verse 1. That's what we read about in Psalms 37 against those secret plots that they have. So it seems as, okay, so let me ask this. In the video, it states that they didn't like it, so they start slandering the Nicaraguan president and his name and his legacy. They start slandering him, right? So notice nothing is said about Europe and those loans that he kept taking. All it said was the Nicaraguan president had no choice but to stand down, but to step down. What did Europe have to say about all of this? Why didn't Europe defend the Nicaraguan president, who was in league with? Because they are all confederate with one consent to destroy the nation of Israel and the name. That's why. It was all a plan. It's all a plot. They are all in agreement against our people. Go back to the video. Go ahead.
Basically just flexing on Nicaragua and telling the president
Look,
to
they
step
pulled
down.
the Marines
And
up. They pulled the Navy up. That's the two spots right there, the Navy and the Marines, right? Where was Europe? Why wasn't Europe protecting its interests? Why wasn't Europe protecting its emissaries, its friends? Why not? Because those ain't his friends. Those are not his emissaries. But the United States is. Read on. His brothers is. Read on. Play on.
Of being a rising superpower is that it worked. He has no choice but to step down. And soon, a leader that the U.S. likes comes to power. The coup is complete, and really, this is the first of many instances of the U.S. meddling in Nicaragua.
Now they put another brother up. They put another brother up, right? In their place, who will be more what do you call it? Amiable to their policy, to them destroying their own people. Somebody who don't care about his people, somebody who don't seek the interest or the betterment or the upliftment of his people. They're completely fine for $1 in destroying their people. Pay him, he'll destroy his people. He'll help whoever destroy whoever. Play on.
And really, this is the first of many instances of the U.S. meddling in Nicaragua.
Yep,
a few years later, the U.S. is
Why?
back in the
Because
region
that,
for
that
another
destruction must be perpetual against God's people. It's just the first of, and it hasn't stopped to this day, to this very day. Play on.
in next door Honduras. This one was plotted by a band of private American citizens, and it follows a similar pattern. A new president comes to town, in this case directly inspired by Nicaragua's president, and he wants to take back control of the country from American businesses. In this case, we're talking about bananas. The banana companies were not going to let this happen. And it was mostly this guy.
So sometimes the leader will rise up, he'll recognize, he's like, yo, this is evil. This is not right. And when America comes in, nobody gets rich. Nobody benefits from the wealth, from the resources, but the white nations. Those are the only people that benefit whenever they come in and they make some type of agreement. So the brothers recognize this and they stand up. Even though they don't have God's laws, they're like, yo, this is rape, robbery, and murder that happened to us in the time of slavery. It's happening again. They step in and watch what happens all over again. Play on.
And it was mostly this guy, a banana businessman named Sam the Banana Man.
It's just
He's
a
not gonna
damn
let this
banana.
pesky
This is a this is a banana connoisseur. This is a banana connoisseur. What does he have to do with taking nations, with stealing land, with overthrowing a government of another country? Watch this.
A banana businessman named Sam the Banana Man. He's not going to let this pesky president run his country.
Damn,
no.
pesky.
So he assembles his own militia. He literally buys a surplus Navy ship.
Wait, ain't
loads
that
it up with
illegal?
Weapons.
Ain't that illegal? That's illegal. That's against the Geneva Convention. If such a thing really exists, that's against it, right? But watch what this man did. He said, this says he assembled his own militia, And I see a icon of a warship. But go ahead, play that.
Militia. He literally buys a surplus Navy ship,
Wow.
loads it up with weapons, and starts his campaign to get.
Where
this
did he
president
get the
out.
weapons
He sails from Newport.
Where did the weapons come from? He's just a banana man. He's just a banana man. This is the underhandedness that this country does all over the earth, everywhere. Not just here in the ghettos and the neighborhoods. It's bigger than that.
He traded in bananas for banana clips.
Hey, he did. I can't do that. He can do that, though. The white man can do that. And it's written right here in the Bible. Our people just don't know it. So they have yet to realize who their enemy is. That's why they turn on each other. But play on. It's a little bit more to this video.
Up with weapons and starts his campaign to get this president out. He sails from New Orleans to the coast of Honduras, and he literally invades the country with like a private army.
Wow.
Wait, where's the U.S. government in all this?
Wow.
They also didn't
Play on.
like the political direction of Honduras either, so they just sort of stood back.
They ain't
Let
stand
this
back.
Private invasion
They
happen.
funded this man to go over there and do that. That's what they did. But mind you, what did they just do in the country right above them to the north in Nicaragua? The same thing. So unless they take up arms and they had enough, they have to look innocent. They have to look like, oh, we have no dealings in that. Play on.
They also didn't like the political direction of Honduras either, so they just sort of stood back. Let this private invasion happen, and then at the critical moment, the U.S. steps in to order a ceasefire, basically bullying the president to step down. He had no way forward, no defense, so he resigns. And the Banana Man's leader
That's how
of
you.
choice
That's another
takes
way
the
you
president.
know we the people of God. This ain't talking about the blacks. This is talking about the Northern King, the Hispanics, right? Watch this. Go back to Deuteronomy 28. Go back to Deuteronomy 28. No might in thy hand. It's a lot of scriptures like that. 48, 47, 32. Pick one.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter.
Give me 47.
Yes, sir. 28 and verse 47. Because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness and with gladness of heart for the abundance of all things. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send thee against thee, in hunger.
Read it again.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst.
You have bananas. The banana man came and stole it. He came and stole your bananas out your backyard. Now you don't got no bananas unless you buy your bananas from the banana man. Come on.
And in nakedness and in want of all things.
Read.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee.
Read on.
The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth.
This man didn't come from up the road, from the next city. This man came from countries away. He had to sail along the ocean to get to this man, to invade his country and take his bananas. I want the bananas. I don't come for the gold. I don't come. This is what the Bible telling us when it says he has lifted up his head. That is some proud stuff. You can't let the man have his bananas. You can't let the people have their bananas. That's a proud man. Listen, chew on that for a minute. Read on.
A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
A nation whose tongue you do not understand. Meaning they ain't come from up the road. They ain't come from the neighboring city. They ain't come from the neighboring country. They came from around the world to oppress you in your heritage. Who are we reading about? The enemies of God, the enemy of God's people, the enemy of the heritage of God. Read on.
Verse 50, a nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young.
That's how they show up, with a warship. They ain't talking, they ain't asking you no questions. They ain't flexing either. They mean business. They come to kill. They come for that reason. They don't know how to be, they don't know how to talk it out. They don't know how to do things in any other means but by violence. That's what we're reading in the Holy Scriptures. Right. Evil covetousness. Come on. Was that it?
Verse 51. And he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle.
He shall do what?
Eat the fruit of thy cattle.
When he come to your land, he coming to take what is yours. He not looking for nothing that ain't nobody else raise up, what do you call it, cultivate, produce. No, he's coming for what you did, your labors, your works, your things. That's what he's coming for. Read.
And the fruit of thy land until thou be destroyed, which also shall not leave thee either corn, wine, or oil.
Wow. Or bananas. Read.
Or the increase of thy kind, or flocks of thy sheep, until we have destroyed thee.
Is that what I wanted? I forgot why we went here. Let's go back. Play the video.
And the banana man's leader of choice takes the presidency, giving the banana businessman land and a unique status to
hold on.
import
I need
anything.
y'all to understand, how did banana man set up a president of a foreign country? Think about that. That don't seem like the banana man to me. But read on.
And the banana man's leader of choice takes the presidency, giving the banana businessman land and a unique status to import anything he needs tax-free. And, wait for it, he refunds him for all of the coup expenses using public Honduran money.
Damn.
This banana man literally overthrew the government and made Honduras pay for it. Wow.
Wow.
Okay, so
Make
let's
this
move
up,
forward
bro.
to the 50s, where the coup becomes a more useful tool in the American toolkit.
Wow,
There's
it's a
this new
tool now.
US
It's a tool now from the success. Now, we know that he understands his blessing, right? We know that he understands that, but this documentary is calling it a tool now. I like that word. It's just a tool, one of many tools that the white man, so-called white man, has to destroy lands. Go ahead.
agency dedicated to collecting and analyzing information from all over the world, meaning for spying. They call it the Central Intelligence Agency, the CIA, and it completely revolutionizes the art of the coup. Oh, and at this point, the U.S. is now a full-blown global superpower, no longer just looking in their own neighborhood, but rather at the whole world map, investing huge resources into fighting their global rival and its communist ideology.
Now, hold that, and it's communist ideology, right? Communist ideology goes into the betterment of one people. They gave it a name, and they called it communist ideology. Communist ideology. What did I say I wanted? Go to the blessing in Genesis. Go to the blessing. Watch it. You got to learn. Listen. Black people, Latin people, all over the world, listen. You got to learn your enemy. You got to know who your enemy is. This is the last days. It's time to wake up. It's time to wake up. Smell the sniffing sauce. Time to get up, family.
The book of Genesis, chapter 27 and verse 38.
Yeah.
And Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father?
Now, Esau is the so-called white man. If you didn't know, Esau is the so-called white man, also known as Edom in the Bible, meaning red. Read.
Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold.
So this is the blessing of Esau, the blessing of the so-called white man from his inception, from his entering into this world, the first one coming into this world. Watch this. This is the blessing he was given. Read.
Thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth.
The dwelling where this man would live will be the fatness of the earth. Now, we know he came out of the Caucasus Mountains, hence why they're called the Caucasians. That's where they came from, right? Give me Job. It's a precept in Job. Let me see if I can find it. Give me Job. I'm going to show you something because Job explains it very, very well. 27, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see if I can find it real fast. Job 20. Let me find it real quick.
Get while we look for that, Micah chapter 2 again, because this is going right into verse 1. Right? This is one of those devices. Right? This is one of those devices. Would you say that they called this a ideology, a communist ideology or something like that? They gave it a fancy word.
Yeah, that's what they call it when somebody is not, when somebody says you keep your democracy. You keep your democracy. We're going to have our government deal with the people in one way for the betterment of everybody. Right? So the United States lives by a capitalist ideology. Other countries, some other countries like China is one of them. The USSR before they destroyed it was another one, as the documentary is saying. Right? So when it's called when they deem something a communist society, that just means that the government is dealing with the well-being or the fairness of everybody's upliftment or well-being, not just whoever can, you know, steal the most or deal the most or do whatever the most wins, right? So they say that's evil. You need democracy. By all, at any cost, you need democracy. And we're willing to kill you to enforce democracy on you and your people, right? But go ahead.
That sounds like a conspiracy to me. That's what it sounds like to me. Read that, verse 1.
The book of Micah, chapter 2 and verse 1. Woe to them that devise iniquity.
They devise iniquity. That's what Cap describing right now. It's another one of them devices that they using to take over the world, right? Come on.
And work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand.
Because it's in the power of their hand. Another one of them devices. They call it communist ideology. That's another device, a conspiracy. All right?
All right, give me Job. Job chapter 24. I found it. Job chapter 24 and start at verse. Start at verse. I like the whole chapter. Start at verse 4. Let's just start at verse 4.
The book of Job, chapter 2.
Hey, read the whole chapter about this so-called white man, man. This Job, he goes in about this guy.
The book of Job, chapter 24 and verse 4. They turn the needy out of the way. The poor of the earth hide themselves together.
All right, so it says the poor of the earth hide themselves together. They turn away the needy out of their way, right? This is talking about how they deal, how the wicked one deals with the poor and the needy, right? Go ahead.
Verse 5. Behold, as wild asses in the desert go they forth to their work.
Forth to their work. What was their work? That evil that they practice on their bed, like we're reading about throughout the scriptures. That evil that they go about stealing lands, destroying a man's heritage, destroying a man's land. Right? Read on.
Rising betimes for a prey.
Hey, it says rising betimes. When they go to bed practicing or what did it say? Devising iniquity. And when they wake up, they practice it because it's within their power to do so. Read on.
The wilderness yieldeth food for them and for their children.
This is talking about what? When Job, the reason why I wanted to go to Job is because Job shows both sides of this man. Like God said, he's always been reputed as nothing. Nothing. He comes from caves, eating, what was he say? Eat juniper root and ticks and stuff. So this is where he come from, and Job going into both of it. Job like, yo, how is he the guy doing this? I don't get it. How did this happen, Lord? You got to save us because only you could allow a destruction this hard on your people. How is it this man did this to us. That's what, go ahead, read on.
Verse 6, they reap everyone his corn in the field.
They reap everyone his corn, come on, meaning they steal everybody's fields. They steal everybody's resources. Read.
And they gather the vintage of the wicked.
They do the same thing they've been doing from the beginning. They do not pity, what do you say? They won't pity the old or the young. They don't care. They don't give a damn about your age, how strong you are to fight back or protect yourself. They don't care about none of that. Read.
Verse 7, they cause the naked to lodge without clothing.
Come on.
That they have no covering in the cold.
What was that? How did we get off those ships? Naked. How are we put on them? Naked. Naked. That's one of the first means of destroying us when they meet us at war. Strip us naked. Read on.
Verse 8, they are wet with the showers of the mountains.
So now he go right back into telling you who they are. They are wet with what?
They are wet with the showers of the mountains.
The Caucasus Mountains, where they come from. That's who Job is talking about. Like earlier, he says, if this ain't the guy, then tell me who it is. Read on. If this ain't the wicked, if the white man of today ain't the wicked God is talking about, please tell me who is. Read it again.
They are wet with the showers of the mountains.
It says they are wet with the showers of the Caucasus Mountains in Georgia, Russia. Read on.
And embrace the rock for want of shelter.
That's where they come from, the rock, the mountains of the Caucasus Mountains. Go ahead.
They pluck the fatherless from the breast.
They do what?
They pluck the fatherless from the breast.
Real quick, we got to do it, though. I want to get back to this documentary, but go back to Deuteronomy 28. Now let's get 32. You got to know who your enemy is. You got to know who God says your enemy is. You leave it to a black man, you leave it to a Hispanic man, our enemy is the only one that we have access to murder. That's all we know of as our enemy. No. God says who your enemy is. God says who his enemy is. His enemy is your enemy. All right? Go ahead.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 32.
Come on.
Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long.
This is how you know that we are the people of the book. Who went through this? We went through this. Our people went through this. Our people still go through this. The people of Eritrea, the brothers, they still to this day going through what we're reading about right now in the curses. Our people still go through all the curses today. Come on.
And there shall be no might in thine hand.
There shall be no what?
No might.
We ain't got a banana man with a militia and a war boat to come and fight for us. When somebody take our children, when somebody oppress our heritage, when somebody oppress our land, we don't have nobody to fight for us. We don't have no private militia. Come on.
And there shall be no might in thine hand.
Was that it?
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's get back to the no, go back to Job. I'm sorry. Go back to Job 24.
Yes, sir. The book of Job, chapter 24 and verse 9. They pluck the fatherless from the breast and take a pledge of the poor. They cause him to go naked without clothing, and they take away the sheaf from the hungry, which make oil within their walls and tread their wine presses and suffer thirst. Men groan from out of the city, and the soul of the wounded crieth out, yet God layeth not folly to them.
Right. This is what the Job is complaining. Like, yo, why is Job saying, yet God lay not folly to him? Because they have yet to be judged. Job is like, yo, what's happening here? How is this man doing all of this? Right? But I digress. I want y'all to see who your enemy is. Let's go back to the documentary. I think there's a little bit more on that. Yeah.
Power, no longer just looking in their own neighborhood, but rather at the whole world map, investing huge resources into fighting their global rival and its communist ideology. So this gets us to Iran, 1953, where Iran had just elected a new star politician, Mohammad Mossadegh. He rises to power believing that Iran must take back control of its most valuable natural resource, oil, which at the time was completely controlled by a British company called the Anglo-Iranian Oil Company. We know it today as BP. Mossadegh is done with this. Let's kick the British out and take back our oil. But like the U.S., Britain is not happy with Iranians trying to take back their resources. So they warn that if they do this,
I think that's it on that. That's all I want on there. All right. The Iranians ain't suffering nothing that. Yeah. So, do me a favor. That material that I sent to the chat, I want to go through it. Am I able to do that on the screen where I can see it here? Well, I'm trying to pick which one I want now because it's already. I ain't got much time left. All right. No. All right. So let me find it. Jesus Christ. All right. Let me go through the chat myself. All right. So give me Zephaniah 2:1. Let's just switch speeds a little bit. So listen, family, we got to know who our enemy is. All right. Y'all got to wake up. Give me that. It's high time. I don't think so.
The book of Romans, chapter 13 and verse 11. And that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep.
So this is the last days, brothers and sisters. This is the last days. All right? It's high. God is saying it's high time for us to wake up out of sleep. The blind ignorance that we walk around with, not knowing, thinking that we the Catholics, thinking we Baptists, thinking we Christians. I'm talking about modern day Christians. We are the Christians of the Bible, but we are not this modern day Christian, the Pentecostal, all that nonsense. No, we are not all these religions. We are not all these ideologies and philosophies that this world has taught us and told us that we are. We're not. All right? Read Zephaniah 2:1.
Yes, sir. The book of Zephaniah, chapter 2 and verse 1. Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O nation not desired.
So the Bible, God is saying we must gather together. In these last days, we have to wake up out of our sleep, right? Smell sniff the sniffing sauce, wake up out of our sleep, come back to who we are. You're not finding no ease, no rest. Give me that in Deuteronomy. You're not finding no ease, no rest among all these nations where you were scattered. Why? Because God says that until you come back, until you return back to him, you will be destroyed. Until you return back to the law, statutes, and commandments as a people, until we gather together as one people under God and his law, statutes, and commandments, we will continuously be destroyed. Go ahead. I think it's like verse 65. Thank you.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 65. And among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. But the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart, and failing of eyes, and sorrow of mind.
Read it again, I'm sorry.
Verse 65. And among these nations,
wherever we were scattered, all right, the brothers and sisters in Africa, the brothers and sisters in China, the brothers and sisters in Japan, Russia, Germany, no matter where we are, we will find no ease. Read.
Shalt thou find no ease.
Among these nations. Why? We read it. They're all confederate to destroy us. They might not agree on a lot of things. They might not agree on politics. They might not agree on food choice. They might not agree on haircuts. They might not agree on this and that. But as to destroying God's people, the blacks, the Native Americans, the Hispanics, so-called, they are all agreed. They are all agreed. And they'll go to the end of the world to accomplish our destruction. Read on.
Neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest, but the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart.
A trembling heart. Now, let's get, give me the article. It's a video. Can I do that? It's the one, I'm going to just forward it to you. Let me see. I'm going to just forward it to you. I just put it back in the queue chat. That last one I just sent. We're just going to play this a little bit. So what's going on right now is our people, especially of Eritrea, Ethiopia, and the various lands of the Sudan, right? Our people are thinking themselves to join Judaism, so-called, right? To join the Jewish faith. That's not who you are. That's not who we are. All right? You do that because for two reasons. Our people understand that we are somebody. We're something. All right? And the other reason is for amnesty. The other reason is for ease. You think that these people will help. You'll find an easier life. A lot of you don't want to go to war with the Ethiopians. It's not fair. You don't agree with the reasons. Perhaps some of y'all understand that it's another force outside of your population, your nation, causing these wars. Whatever the reason, you won't find ease amongst these nations, especially in joining their religions. Let's play the video. Can we? All right. Do you need the disclaimer? Don't forget. Okay, all praise. All right. We're going to skip through it because I'm short on time, but I'll let you know. Skip this part, obviously. No, go back because we got to get that. Yeah.
Since 2006, about 60,000 Africans have arrived in Israel on harrowing treks through the Sinai Desert, fleeing poverty,
hold on.
persecution, ethnic.
The people, go back to that. I want y'all to understand. It's going to show faces after a while, but this is the treatment, and still to this day, this is only 2006. This is not that long ago, but still to this day, this is the treatment of all these brothers and sisters seeking asylum from those civil wars that's perpetrated by the so-called white man in their lands. This is how they're treated. This is universal treatment. This is not just some or the other or whatever. And the women get treated the exact same way, and sometimes worse. Go ahead.
Have arrived in Israel on harrowing treks through the Sinai Desert, fleeing poverty, persecution, ethnic cleansing, and genocide. As refugee camps across Africa fill up and Europe closes its gates to asylum seekers, Israel became the next best option, accessible by land and said to be a developed democracy.
So as I stated, a lot of them are seeking, a lot of the brothers and sisters from Eritrea, Ethiopia are seeking asylum, because their faith or whatever they believe in at this particular point, or just what they believe in, whether or not it's a religion or not, they don't want to fight that war. They realize and recognize it's all BS. It's the so-called white man perpetrating, or whatever the reason it may be, that they don't want to fight a war they have nothing to do with, right? So they seek asylum. They go to what is supposed to be full of mercy, what's supposed to be full of wisdom, what's supposed to be godly, right? The so-called Holy Land. It is the Holy Land. It's just not holy today. All right, play it.
Israel became the next best option, accessible by land and said to be a developed democracy. But instead of providing them with safe haven, Israel is both refusing to grant them any benefits and denying them the ability to work legally. So look, you see,
he says it's said to be an established democracy. Just showing all of that is a farce. It's all BS. Democracy has nothing to do with freedom, has nothing, in reality, it has nothing to do with freedom, nothing to do with liberty. It's all the rule and the reign of the so-called white man and his blessing that we read about in Genesis chapter 27, to destroy and kill, to conquer and take everything he has. Play on.
To support themselves. Faced with poverty and exploitation.
So they looking for, they just want to go work. They just want somewhere where they have an opportunity to feed themselves and their children. Go ahead.
Legally to support themselves. Faced with poverty and exploitation, a new nightmare unfolded.
עדיין לא מאוחר, אפשר מחר לעשות מעשה, להתחיל לאסוף את המסתננים, לא צריך לחכות לבג"ץ.
Can we take that off for a second? Will that affect it? I want to read that. If it'll affect it, don't worry about it. Round them up tomorrow morning. Go ahead, play her real quick. Round them up tomorrow morning. Outside my house, I see shit, spit, and psychopaths. Those are the brothers and sisters seeking asylum. They don't want to go. They don't want to fight a war they have nothing to do with. These are the psychopaths. Come on.
מחוץ לבית שלי. יריקות, פסיכופטים, אנשים שרק מחפשים...
Just waiting for the chance to murder me. You can see it in their eyes. But they're the ones restrained. They're the ones detained. They're the ones that the detention centers are built for. Upon arrival, guess where they get to go? The brothers and sisters seeking asylum, seeking mercy from something, from conflict, from death they have nothing to do with. They get to go into those detention centers, custom built for their torture. We got to get to that video. Hurry up and play this. Go ahead.
בעיניים שלהם, אבל אף אחד לא מאמין לנו. אנחנו גזענים. אנחנו גזענים כדי לרצות לשמור על החיים שלנו ועל השפיות שלנו. אז אני גאה בלהיות גזענית. אני גאה בלהיות גזענית. אם אני גזענית בשביל לשמור על החיים שלי, אז אני גאה.
While protests raged in the streets against the presence of asylum seekers from Africa, the man who held the power to determine their fate, Deputy Prime Minister Eli Yishai, demanded their expulsion.
אם ייתנו לי את כל הכלים, ואני פועל להשיג את כל הכלים, וזה לא קל. אם ייתנו לי
Not a
את כל
thing, not a
הכלים בלי
thing,
יוצא מן
not a thing
הכלל,
about it.
תוך
And I need
פחות
y'all to go. Hold on. The thing about this, he has the power to enforce their disposition, right? This is the thing about it. They don't have a what is it called? A deportation agreement with Eritrea or Ethiopia or most African countries. So what do they mean, disposition? What do they mean, disposition? If you have no governmental or legal agreement, all right, how are you, by what means or how does that work? You are deporting these brothers and sisters because it's supposed to be back to their land or some border of their land. That's what it's supposed to be. But if there's no agreement, well, how does that actually work? Watch this. I'm going to show you. Go ahead. I'm going to show you what they're actually doing.
Demanded their expulsion.
אם ייתנו לי את כל הכלים, ואני פועל להשיג את כל הכלים, וזה לא קל. אם ייתנו לי את כל הכלים בלי יוצא מן הכלל, תוך פחות משנה לא יישאר בארץ ישראל אפילו מסתנן אחד.
And the few isolated Israelis who dared to protest, like this woman, were met with harsh backlash.
They should be ashamed. I told y'all, they all Confederate. They Confederate. They getting on their fellow kinsmen, right? A fellow Israeli about her protesting the mistreatment of those people seeking asylum, right? They ready to kill her. Go ahead, play on. I think it's a little bit more I want out of this, then we got to move on. Then I want you to get those videos, the 3 videos. Then I want you to get those the 3 videos. We're just gonna skim through those because I need to show the people what they actually doing to these brothers and sisters over there. You're married to a nigga. She has no shame.
At the anti-African rallies we documented, one figure was ubiquitous, a member of Knesset named Michael Ben Ari. In August 2010, we interviewed him at his Knesset office.
All right, that's enough of that. I got to get to the videos now. Give me the 3 segmented videos. Yep. Put the disclaimer. We need a disclaimer, right?
Graphic nature of the following content, it may not be suitable for all viewers.
The Sinai Desert. For African refugees, the last and most dangerous part of their bid to reach Israel. When we came here late last year, we uncovered horrendous stories: forced labor, rape, even organ harvesting. Killed by Bedouin gangs or shot by Egyptian border guards.
Hold on, so it
Behind
says
me
killed
is the-
by gangs or shot by border guards. Or shot by border guards. That's your Tyree and Zidane. Those are your Arabs. Go ahead.
border between Israel and Egypt. Now, when we came here last time to northern Sinai, we discovered that there were many African refugees who were trying to reach Israel who got into the hands of human traffickers. They were tortured. Massively high ransoms were demanded. Many of the women were raped, and some of the refugees
That's why the
were
Lord says
even
that we are
killed.
given as a prey. But they try to make, just like the woman was in the streets of Israel talking about she sees shit, piss, and psychopaths. They're waiting to kill her. But this is the end, or this is the fate of those brothers who are mercifully seeking asylum from the atrocities that some other man perpetrating in their land. But we the psychopaths. Our people the psychopaths. You can't make this up. Play on.
We've now returned here to see whether the situation in northern Sinai has changed and improved for the African refugees.
No, it hasn't. Fast forward. I want where the
Human
lady
misery,
is talking.
A base for people traffickers. African refugees trying to cross the Sinai are brought here by smugglers and then held for ransom.
Go up. I'm sorry, I
Bedouin
don't
gangs
have the time
blackmail their.
I just looked through this late. So go up to where the lady. Go up. Right there. Yep. Watch this. This is what's actually going on with these brothers and sisters. They're talking about deportation. No. They go into detainment camps where they are tortured. Where's the records of them actually making it back to their lands? Where's the records? Where's the documentation? It doesn't exist. Other than their words, which are lies, which God said when they come out from their mothers behind, they come out speaking lies. Other than that, other than their lies, we have nothing else. There is no documentation of these people and what happens to them after they deported. Watch this. Now this is facts. This is receipts. Watch it. Go back to the beginning of this segment here. A little bit more. Right there. Let's try that.
Identities. But they want to show us the scars on their bodies that give an indication of what they've been through. The wounds have not yet healed. Some are infected.
Now I'm going to tell y'all,
They
for the
say
sake of
they
time,
were
I can't
almost-
remember how long it takes for us to get through this, but what you're looking at is what happens to them in these detainment, or the documentaries calling them torture camps, where they're tortured, and the means of torture that they go through is melted plastic. That's what you're looking at here. They slow melt plastic on these people's backs. Now remember the documentary of Esau taking the Nicaragua, I think it was Nicaragua. It was taken by slander and lies with a threat of physical harm, right? It's the same thing that's happening in Israel. Same thing. What they're doing to these people, our brothers and sisters, is they're taking them and they're torturing them in these camps, and also making their families, or forcing their families, to pay them a ransom to get them back. So they say deportation. It ain't no receipts for that. But this is what if somebody got receipts, please send them. These are the receipts. These are the receipts that are evident. These are the receipts that's out there. Our brothers and sisters have no means of they are not being deported. They're being sent to torture camps and ransomed for money and organs. Their organs. Go ahead, play on.
Of what they've been through.
So that's dripping. That's
wounds
dripping
have not yet
plastic on them.
healed.
That's
Some
what that
are
comes from. Go ahead.
Infected. They say they were almost constantly abused by
Now, how
people
all of them
smugglers.
go through the same thing? They all got the same scars. If this ain't systematic, how they all got the same damn scars? Come on, play on. That's a boy.
You were lucky
That's a
if
little
you could
boy
rest
right
for
there.
1 hour. Every hour, or every 20 minutes, they would come and hit us. They used a very big stick. And after a while, you don't feel your body anymore. You just feel like your whole body is paralyzed because it is swollen everywhere. Even our hands. We cannot even hold the bread with our own hands because our hands hurt so bad.
The men alleged the traffickers would melt plastic on their backs, use electric shocks, and more.
I hit me.
He hit you?
Yeah, he hit me in his arms, and what's the plastic? He's in the
All
fire.
right, drop this one. Go
All
to the
of
next
them
one.
say their family.
Go to the. I think it's the third one actually. Just skip the next one. Go to the third one with the woman speaking. Just get where the woman speaking. Get with the woman speaking. Listen, family. We got to wake up. We got to come out of this stuff. These people are not for our benefit. These people are not for our help. These are the people that God said are your enemies, and they're showing you that. That's all they're going to show you. That's all they're going to show you. We got to wake up. We got to stop trusting the devices and the plots and the lies of our enemy. We have to. Come on. All right.
Swedish journalist and activist who's been
Watch this.
reporting
Listen
on
carefully.
the plight of refugees in Sinai for years.
And where? Hold on.
says
Sinai.
trafficker-
Ain't Sinai under Israel control? Sinai is under Israel's control. Where are those politicians? Where are those leaders to stop this? If it's so evil, if it's not what they, because their politicians talked about deportation, not torture camps. Where are they while all this is happening? Brothers and sisters of Eritrea escaping and looking for asylum under these demons called Israelis, you will find no ease, like we read in the scripture. You will find no ease with these nations. The only ease you'll find is gathering back with your people. Let's get this so I can finish up. Real quick, play this segment here.
Often make calls to families so they hear their loved ones being tortured and abused.
Wow.
The mother was telling me back home, she was listening to her daughter being raped. And he was screaming, "This is for you, this is for you," like to the mother, you know, like, so you can imagine if you are a parent listening to your daughter being raped and you can't do anything. So you will do whatever it takes to save that child of yours.
So now, hold on. So now,
It may
what is
not
that father going to do to come up with that money to stop his daughter from getting raped? What is that father going to do? Who does he have access to other than his brother? To take from his brother, to steal from his brother, to kill, to stop his daughter from being raped in a strange land. You have no idea where your daughter is. This is how a nation or a people, a poor people, like we read about in Job, is destabilized and turned to do terrible things. What would any man do to stop his daughter from being raped? What would any man do? Go ahead.
Can't do anything. So you will do whatever it takes to save that child of yours.
Miran says she's spoken to dozens of Eritreans even as they were trapped in the torture camps. Many of those she spoke
Now, this
to
documentary
did not
ain't calling them
survive the-
deportation camps. This documentary is calling them torture camps. Torture camps. Because there's no plan of deportation. There's other plans which has more to do with torture than anything else. Go ahead, play it.
the ordeal. Some vanished. Among them, a
Say
young
some
Eritrean
vanished. So
woman
it's
called
no deportation going on. The document, and this is CNN. This is the white man himself. These people they're not deported. They vanish. They're tortured until their family comes up with a ransom by means of Lord knows what. Or they vanish. Go ahead.
a friend of Miran since childhood.
Watch this.
But when we were in Sinai, we came across a young woman at Sheikh Mohammed's safe house. She'd managed to run away from a torture camp, and Sheikh Mohammed's supporters brought her here. We discovered that her name was Almaz and were able to put her in touch with Miran.
Hi, Miran. I was happy when you let me speak to her when I found out that she's one of the people that fled. It made me happy because I kind of understand the situation of her family. I got very close to her sister, so it was a relief to know that they don't have to go through what they were going through.
And what they were going through was often appalling.
So
There
just
was a
play this part, and then
routine.
I gotta get back
We
to
got
these scriptures and
tortured
finish up.
every day.
It says they were
They
tortured
beat us,
every day.
and they would melt plastic and drip it on our back.
Hold on. Wait.
Drop.
This ain't the same brothers we just looked at. But the same thing is happening to these people. How is this but anything but systematic? How is this not organized what happens to our brothers and sisters that seek asylum in Israel? How? Play on.
There was a routine. We got
She says it was a
tortured every
routine.
day.
It was a routine. That's what we're seeing. One report was about some brothers in a completely different place in Israel, perhaps a completely different torture camp, but the same means of torture. Watch what else she say. Go ahead.
They beat us, and they would melt plastic and drip it on our back, drop by drop.
Almaz and a second woman who also escaped spend their days in Sheikh Mohammed's safe house waiting to be evacuated to Cairo. They're in limbo, but at least they're safe from their tormentors thanks to the Sheikh and his supporters.
All right, all praise. Let's get back to the scriptures. All praise for the Lord showing the wickedness of these people, man. He said he promised us that he make their tongue fall on them. And that's what we're seeing. But let me read Zephaniah 2:1 again. So what we got to come to, family, we have to realize we got to come back together. The answer is not these other nations and their religions for the sake of peace or asylum. The Lord said, read that, and then we're going to get Hosea 5:15.
Yes, sir. The book of Zephaniah, chapter 2 and verse 1.
Come on.
Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O nation, not desire.
So the Bible is not saying leave your people or gather together or flee to a people that hates you more. Flee to their ideologies, flee to their sins, flee to their politics, flee to their heritage. No, the Bible is not saying that. But a lot of us, that's what we're doing, and that's our error. That's our error. Our brothers and sisters in Eritrea, Ethiopia, Sudan, the regions of Sudan, that's your error. You got to come back to who you are. You must come back to who you are. Give me Zephaniah 2. Give me Zephaniah 3. I'm sorry. Yes, and 10.
The book of Zephaniah, chapter 3 and verse 10. From beyond the rivers of Ethiopia,
come on,
my suppliants, even the daughter of my dispersed.
So the Most High God, he's telling you, you are the daughter of his dispersed. You are the daughters of this. You're not some converts to Judaism, modern day Judaism. That's not who you are. Neither is that where you seek shelter or peace from. You will find none, as we just read. Read it again, bro. Go back to Deuteronomy. Read it again. 65.
Yes, sir.
God said he promised you that among whatever nation, you will find no ease.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 65.
Come on.
And among these nations shalt thou find no ease.
Come on.
Neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest.
Neither shall the sole of your foot. Meaning you always going to be on the run. You always going to be seeking peace until you come back to who you are. Give me Hosea 5:15. Till you come back to who you are. That's why God said we got to gather together. We got to gather together as one people under God. The blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, wherever on earth you are, we have to come back together. Go ahead.
The book of Hosea, chapter 5 and verse 15. I will go and return to my place.
This is God. He says he's going to go and return to his place. Read.
Till they acknowledge their offense.
Who's the they? The daughter of his dispersed. The blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Until we come back to who we are, until we come back to obeying our Father, our God, he's going to leave us. That's why we find no ease. That's why we're not protected of him, because we have to come back and stop sinning. Stop looking for every reason not to follow God, because somebody say, oh, you come and do this is the way of peace. Like the documentary said, all the people, the people of Eritrea seek asylum there because they believe that it's an established democracy. So what's that mean? You think in your mind democracy means peace. You think in your mind democracy means shelter. You think in your mind democracy means liberty from death in war. That's not what that means. That's not what that means. That means control of the same man who put your behind and your people in chains to begin with. That's what that means. It is under the white man's control. Wherever you see democracy, we are to gather ourselves together as one people under our Father and his laws, statutes, and commandments. That's our heritage. That is our heritage. Now, let me show some pictures. Let me show some pictures. This ain't the way, and these brothers are leading our people astray. And there's some sisters too. You got Tiffany Haddish. When she one of them converts or whatever. Can we play that? Is that okay? We won't get in trouble. Like they won't cut us off or nothing. The pictures I posted, those celebrities.
Hey, Cap, you know what's so funny?
Yeah, convert.
These same people that allow this. Remember when the thing with Ukraine popped off? There was all this mercy and all this. Hey, you got to help those guys, and all kind of countries was opening their borders.
Still to this day.
To this day for them, those people.
Right.
But when our people go and seek asylum, they end up slaves. That's crazy as hell.
Slaves and slaves, if you're lucky, tortured until your family can do whatever evil they can to get up this money, this unreasonable amount of money to get your behind out of torture camp. Or what do they call it? The torture center? Torture camp, whatever. You get them pictures? Put them pictures up. Look at this. This is our brother, right? This is what's his name again? Amari Stoudemire. Amari Stoudemire. When you look at him, celebrate this. Let's just go through them first because I got something to say about this. Go through the next one. Look at it. Who is this guy? I don't know who he is, but I know he Jake, and he's some type of rapper, right? Anybody know he a rapper? I read the little subtext or whatever on this picture. He's like a rapper or something, right? Look at this. His hair don't even grow that way. You understand what I'm saying? Conversion is different levels for different people. You had to convert your hair type.
He had to use a curling iron cap.
Yeah, bro. This is not it, people. I know these are celebrities, and these might be who our people look up to. This is not the way. This ain't it. Show me the next picture. Show me the next picture. Come on. Look at this. Look at this. Is this our culture? This is what we do? Absolutely not. You look in the distance of this picture, you see all Edomites doing this stuff here. He's the only Negro over there doing this. That's Shine. That's the rapper Shine. Yep. Yeah, believe it or not, it was crazy, right? Yeah, that's Shine. That's who that is, bro. And our people look at this and they be like, you know what? Maybe there's, even if it's not the true religion, it's some prestige in it because the celebrities are doing it. So it's alluring to our people to some degree, whether they understand it topically or not, cognizantly or not. It's some allure to this, right? Go to the, is that all of the pictures? All right, give me Daniel. Give me Daniel chapter 11, verse 32. How much time I got? Ugh. Give me Daniel chapter 11, verse 32.
The book of Daniel, chapter 11 and verse 32.
Uh-huh.
And such as do wickedly against the covenant shall he corrupt with flatteries.
Shall he corrupt. The white man will corrupt those that are already wicked, that are already commandment breakers with flatteries. You had the brother Shine, he had a nice bid. Now he don't, he out now. And he goes straight from I know he ain't find that in prison. That religion ain't in prison. It's a lot of them in there. You got 5%, you got BHI. It's a lot of ways you can go in prison. But that thing on that box on the head praying at Herod's wall.
Not for him, it ain't.
That ain't in prison, bro. That's for some of us. Y'all let me know, brothers who've been sat down before. That ain't in prison. I ain't no fool. I ain't the smartest guy on earth, but I ain't no fool. All right. Read it again.
And such as do wickedly against
the covenant. Come on.
Shall be. I'm sorry. Shall he corrupt by?
Read it again.
Yes, sir. And such as do wickedly against the covenant shall he corrupt by flatteries.
Shall he, the white man, that man that has the power in his hand to give and take, shall he flatter? He's going to flatter you. That's already in sin. Why you looking for the right way? Why you looking for a way to ease the destruction that you're going through? Before you meet God, he got to, no, let's get this one. Let's get this one here. He influences a lot of them. Let's get to him and make him one of ours. Make him dress up in this goofy stuff and show his people that that's the way. Read.
But the people that do know their God.
But the people that do know their God, come on.
Shall be strong.
Shall be strong, meaning resist it. They'll see that and say, bro, who the hell, why do you look like that? That ain't what God said for us to do. That's not our heritage. You them people's flunky. You them people's device against your own people. Go ahead.
And
Was that it?
And do exploits.
And do exploits. And do exploits. Now, drop that. Let's get Proverbs 3:31. Nope. 2 Maccabees chapter 4. 2 Maccabees chapter 4. Read, start at 11. We're going to try to go through it real fast. This class is about the enemies and the avengers of God. All right? God shall avenge his people. God shall rise up his men, his people, to avenge the nation. That's what we are. So we telling you, brothers of Eritrea, we telling you, brothers scattered in the diaspora all over the world. You have a family. You have a people. You have a nation. You have a God. And it's not the so-called white man or anything that he worships. Your God is the creator of all things. Your God is the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Yeah, read that.
The book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 4 and verse 11. And the royal privileges granted of special favor to the Jews by the means of John, the father of Eupolemus.
So when we see these celebrities dress up like this, and we like, that got to be the only Negro in 1 million people looking like that over there. Why is he doing that? He must feel out of place, ostracized. He must feel crazy. What makes him say this is the way? Those privileges granted to him. That's what's going on. Read it again and read on.
The royal privileges granted of special favor to the Jews by the means of John, the father of Eupolemus, who went ambassador to Rome for amnesty and aid. He took away and putting down the governments which were according to the law. He brought up new customs against the law.
He brought up new customs against the law. This is wicked Negroes of our people. Of our people. Read on. Watch this.
For he built gladly a place of exercise under the tower itself, and brought the chief young men under his subjection, and made them wear a hat.
Now, what do we call this today? For the sake of time, what do we call this today? Celebrities. Celebrities. Celebrity athletes is what it's going into immediately right here. But these are celebrities. Read on.
Now, such was the height of Greek fashion. An increase of heathenish manners.
These are heathenish manners that we see our people shine. Our brother Amari Stoudemire, Tiffany Haddish, and the rapper brother that was up there. These are Greekish or heathenish fashion, heathenish manner, heathenish customs. And make no mistake, with that garb or with that garment, the clothing and how they're dressing, it's a mindset that comes with that. It's a mindset that comes with that. It's a spirit that comes with that. That's why they tell you must be converted before you can be called a Jew. That's how they get on over there, right? You got to convert and start dressing like them, behaving like them. You got to come through one of they, what is it called? Rabbis. Come through one of their rabbis, be converted. They prick your penis again, even if you're already circumcised. That's what, listen, it's more than just what they have on. It's in their mind. It's the spirit that they allow and they accept into their soul. All right, read on.
Through the exceeding profaneness of Jason, that ungodly wretch, and no high priest.
Come on.
That the priest had no courage to serve anymore at the altar.
Come on.
But despising the temple and neglecting the sacrifices, hastened to be partakers of the unlawful allowance in the place of exercise after the game of discus called them forth.
Right. So they took gladly that high position in society, right, to do those Greekish fashions, long as they have they're not slaves. Now they don't have, well, they're not beaten as slaves, or they're not treated as slaves in public. right? And they have money now. They have wealth. They have favor of men now. So they gladly go against the laws and the heritage of their fathers, right? Watch this. Read on.
Verse 15.
Just jump down to 16. No, go ahead. Read on. Read around.
Not setting by the honors of their fathers.
It says not setting by the honors of their fathers. Come on.
But liking the glory of the Grecians best of all.
But liking the glory of the Grecians best of all. This is what's happening with our people when they're converting and they're accepting these ways of another man's ideology, another man's forefathers, another man's heritage, another man's faith and religion. Come on.
Verse 16. By reason whereof sore calamity came upon them.
And the Lord allowed destruction to happen to them. And he continued. He will allow the destruction to happen to our people continually, act like we just read in Hosea 5:15, until we acknowledge our offense against our Lord, until we come back to what he said is our heritage, which is the commandments of God. He's going to allow us to be destroyed. It's not going to end. Come on.
For they had them to be their enemies.
Hold on. So he had Esau, the same people that conquered us, the same people that destroyed us. He had the wickedness of our people back in this time had the heathen to be our enemy. Come on.
And avengers.
And avengers. Same thing we do today. The same people who brought us here to the coast of America, stolen from the coasts of Africa, right, and spread throughout the diaspora. The same people we worship, our people worship in wickedness, it's the same people who put us in chains. The same God you think put you in chains, or the same man you think put you in chains, is the God you think gonna come from the sky. It makes no sense at all. Your enemy is your avenger. That makes no sense at all. Give me 2nd Ezra, chapter 1, verse 35. So listen, family. Listen, in closing, listen. We got to come back to who we are. All right? We have to come back to our laws, statutes, and commandments. Hold that. Give me Sirach. You know I love Sirach 24:23. All right? Give me Sirach 24:23. All right? We have to come back to who we actually are. Our heritage. All right?
The book of Sirach, chapter 24 and verse 23.
Go ahead.
All these things are the book of the covenant of the Most High.
Go ahead.
Even the law which Moses commanded for an heritage.
This is our heritage. The laws that Moses commanded is the heritage of the so-called blacks, the so-called Native Americans, the so-called Indians. This is our heritage. This is what we're supposed to dress like, behave like, live like. This is how we are obedient to God. Come on.
Unto the congregations of Jacob.
We are the congregations of Jacob, who is Israel. Come on.
Verse 24. Faint not to be strong in the Lord.
All right, that was it. Go now give me 2nd Ezra 1 and 35. Sure. All right, so listen, family. The prophets are back. The avengers of God are back. All right, we must gather ourselves back together as one people. As one people. Brothers and sisters of Eritrea, brothers and sisters of the conflicts going on in the Sudanese region. All right, wherever you are, reach us at israelunite.org. Reach out. All right, and come back to who you are. All right, learn who you are. Learn who you are in this Bible. Learn about your forefathers. Learn about your history. Learn about why you go and suffer through the things that you do. All right, go ahead.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 1 and verse 35.
Come on.
Your houses will I give to a people that shall come, which having not heard of me, yet shall believe me, to whom I have showed no signs, yet they shall do that I have commanded them. They have seen no prophets, yet they shall call their sins to remembrance and acknowledge them.
So though we weren't the people that saw you weren't there when you saw the sea part, all right, coming out of Egypt under Moses. Though you weren't the people that saw the pillar of fire and the chariot above us through the wilderness. You don't think you were the people. However, God says, and it's prophesied, that those same people in the latter days will come back to who they are. Those people will come back and call themselves Israel, behave themselves as the children of God. Read on.
Verse 37. I take to witness the grace of the people, to this people to come,
Read.
Whose little ones rejoice in gladness. And though they have not seen me with bodily eyes, yet in spirit they believe the thing that I say. And now, brother, behold what glory, and see the people that cometh from the east. unto whom I will give for leaders Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Our forefathers will be right to lead us. Our forefathers are back in the earth today to lead us, brothers and sisters. Don't lose hope. Regain your hope. Gather your hope. Come on.
Oseas, Amos, and Micahs, Joel, Abdias, and Jonas, Nahum, Habakkuk, Zephanias, Aggeus, Zachary, and Malachi, which is called also an angel of the Lord.
All right. So listen. Do I got time to get one more? I'm a close out. I'm gonna close out. All right. So listen, family. I pray that you glean something from this, especially the brothers and sisters on the continent and all over the world, all the people of the diaspora. I pray that you gathered and gleaned something from this. You are not the Gentiles. You are the people of God. You are the Israelites, according to the Bible. That's who you are. That's who you are. We got to gather ourselves back together in these last days. Reach out to us at israelunite.org. All right, subscribe to Israel United in Christ, IUIC Virginia, on YouTube. Check us out on Instagram and all social media platforms, all right? With that, we're going to say shalom, happy Sabbath, family. Most High in Christ bless.
What is a nation? Nation is men leading by example. Nation is family.